This TikTok fan said the Sombre concert was so bad. It felt like brain rot on stage. But what happened next sparked one of the biggest viral fights TikTok's ever seen.
Okay. There was a moment in between songs where he literally just randomly went, bark for me. And you hear the arena of 13, 14, 15-year-old girls start barking. And then immediately followed up with, yeah, daddy.
That clip set the tone for what came next. Meg was calm, but cutting delivery hit harder than anyone expected. People called it the moment the internet finally checked Sombre. In seconds, the comments started filling up with words like manipulative, fake, and hypocrite. Fans who once defended Sombre were suddenly quiet, and critics flooded in to say this was karma. It wasn't just another creator disagreement. It felt personal, like a long build-up that finally snapped. For Sombre, that short clip would turn into weeks of chaos. Hours after Meg's clip went viral, Sombre finally broke his silence.
I totally respect people having opinions, but I am a 20-year-old artist, freshly 20. And if you're 25 years old and you're gonna come to my concert and not expect people younger than you to be there when I, the artist, am 5 years younger than you, it's just a skill issue. Also, I'm just gonna give a quick tutorial. Also, I just remembered that I had a fever and bronchitis at the show she went to, but the show goes on. I will not cancel unless I'm on my deathbed.
That clip came from his official TikTok, posted just days after the fan's video exploded. Instead of addressing her actual criticisms, Sombre went straight for her age. He told viewers that being 25 and complaining about a teen concert was a skill issue. He said his humor was part of the persona that built his career, calling the crowd interaction normal for his audience. Anyone who knows me, he said, knows I've never uttered a serious word in my life. He insisted the show was mostly music, just a few jokes, and told fans to live a little. But his tone rubbed people the wrong way. Many thought he sounded smug. The moment that sealed it was the ending. He picked up a small square of fake turf and said, "Let me give you a quick tutorial on touching grass," then rubbed it on camera. That sarcastic gesture, meant as a joke, instantly became a meme. Viewers called it childish. Some said he turned constructive feedback into internet theater. Others defended him, arguing that the fan was the one out of touch, too old to understand his humor. The divide grew fast. His comments filled with people quoting lines from both videos. "I paid money to suffer through that" versus "it's just a skill issue." The debate became less about one concert and more about age, ego, and what counts as entertainment on TikTok. What started as a rant about a show was now a viral cultural argument between generations. By the next morning, Sombre's response had completely taken over TikTok. Meg wasted no time answering back. By the next morning, Sombre's response had completely taken over TikTok. Meg wasted no time answering back.
What a dumb play. This guy made a response video, essentially calling me geriatric for being 25 and addressing none of the points I actually said in my video. I just know your team was scraping the bottom of the barrel to find something to come at me for. And we landed on body shaming? Is the body shaming in the room with us?
In a new video, she called his reply a dumb play. She said he skipped over every real criticism and focused only on her age. She accused him of dodging accountability and sending waves of harassment her way while calling her geriatric for being 25. Her follow-up blew up with millions of new views and pushed the feud to another level. At the same time, TikTok's For You page turned into a reaction storm. Duets, stitches, and breakdowns flooded the app. Some creators sided with Meg, calling the concert proof of how young audiences are being exploited for views. Others defended Sombre, saying she was out of touch and just too old for his crowd. The argument wasn't just about the show anymore. It became a full cultural debate about generation gaps, internet humor, and what's considered entertainment. Parody started rolling in almost instantly. Some mocked Sombre's touch grass bit, filming themselves rubbing fake turf on camera. Others pretended to be his PR team reacting to the video, joking that he had just made things worse. The humor only amplified the chaos. His serious monologue had turned into meme material. Even The Independent noted that his rant inspired a wave of parody videos across TikTok. Meanwhile, discussion threads on Twitter and Reddit exploded. People argued over who was right and who was cringe. Some said Sombre made the situation worse by dismissing valid feedback about his behavior at the concert. Others said Meg was being dramatic and should have known what kind of crowd he pulls. No matter the stance, everyone had an opinion. The feud wasn't fading. It was growing. As the feud spread beyond TikTok, it stopped being just a viral argument and started turning into a full cultural moment. News outlets began picking it up. Headlines described it as a social media storm brewing around Sombre, for a 20-year-old artist who built his fame on TikTok. This was the first real taste of mainstream controversy. The narrative split clean down the middle. Younger fans saw it as overblown drama. They said Meg should have expected a crowd full of teens and mean humor. They thought she went looking for something to complain about. But older viewers sided with her, saying the concert clips showed real problems. They pointed to the barking moment. The Daddy line of jokes aimed at a crowd of teenagers. To them, it crossed the line between edgy and inappropriate. That clash became the real story. People weren't just debating Sombre and Meg anymore. They were debating what it means to grow up on the internet. Was this just Gen Z humor being misunderstood? Or was it a warning about how far creators go for engagement? The comments under every related video turned into full-on essays. Some wrote that Sombre's response proved how disconnected influencers have become. Others said the internet is too sensitive and can't handle a joke. Through it all, Sombre stayed silent after his response video. He didn't delete it. He didn't clarify anything. Instead, he kept posting his usual content, acting like nothing happened. That silence only fueled more speculation. Fans said it showed confidence. Critics said it showed guilt. And every time he posted, someone would quote Meg's line about the concert being like a middle school dance. Her words had stuck. By the end of the week, the Sombre versus Meg drama had gone full circle. What started as a concert review turned into a massive online debate about age, humor, and internet culture. Both sides gained followers, both sides took hits. And the conversation kept looping on the For You page. Sombre's fan base doubled down. They flooded his comments with jokes about touching grass and called Meg the villain of the week. But outside his circle, people started seeing the cracks. More creators began saying out loud what Meg had said first, that the concert clips were weird. That maybe it really did feel like a middle school dance. By then, Sombre's name was everywhere. Even mainstream media had caught on, calling it one of TikTok's wildest influencer feuds of the year. Parodies of his rant, edits of the concert crowd barking, and skits about being too old for TikTok shows kept pushing the trend further. The internet had turned the fight into a meme. Now, weeks later, the dust still hasn't fully settled. Meg's review stands as one of the most watched concert story times of the year. Sombre's videos are still climbing, but his image has changed. For some, he's the poster boy of Gen Z chaos. For others, he's just another creator who couldn't take criticism. In the end, the feud said less about people and more about the internet itself, how fast it builds, how fast it burns, and how every viral story becomes a mirror for the culture watching it unfold.